If somebody had a story of my life, they might consider me a colorful character. Being stubborn can have a good resolve or not. This one was not good. In 1969, I was a second lieutenant in Thailand. I was at the base, Utapao Air Base, B-52 base. Had 15 years service at that time. And a Thai went to the base commander and wanted to sell him Buddhas. They were about that tall and about that wide, and they were made out of a hard clay with the surface of the Buddha, and it was covered in heavy plastic with a rim around it, and you wore it around your neck. He wanted to sell it to the base commander to give the air crews, so that he said that they wore those that we would not be killed in combat. The base commander told the Polish marshal, disprove that, get him off my back. So the Polish marshal knew that I was a distinguished pistol shot. You don't know what that is, but to make a long story short on that, I was pretty good. And so the Polish marshal called me up and he said, you want to make a shoot down on the range, down on the beach, put on a little demonstration? And I said, sure. He said, go over to the arms room, which was across the road from where I was at, check out a weapon from the security police arms room, and it's ammo. I'll pick you up. And we went to the beach. There's a bunch of Thais down there. He's got these Buddhas. He puts one down in front of me and he says, try to hit that. He says, you can't. General so-and-so couldn't hit it. The general was smarter than I was, but I knew what the deal was. So I said, no. I said, put some out there at 20 yards. The weather was perfect. The weapon was a target grade weapon that I had. And I said, I need to check and see where it's going to shoot. So I fired at a rock, and it shot 2 inches low, and the wind was perfect. Great. So yeah, I fired at his 4 Buddhists, and they went everywhere, and he went wacky. The major had a funny look on his face, and he was trying to get me to say, let's go, that's enough. But I was stubborn. I wanted to prove to those people how good that was. I wanted to show them how good a shot I was. I said, no, one more shot. I took one, and I took it out there, and I put it at a perfect 90-degree angle. And so the bullet would not ricochet off if it hit. I shot that thing right down the middle, and it went everywhere. And that guy went everywhere too. He was really upset. The major really had a bad look on his face, and I didn't know why. 2 nights later, I get a call at 2 o'clock in the morning. Some Thai's trying to pronounce my name. He couldn't pronounce it, but he wanted to know where I was at, what room I was in, what BOQ. I hung up on him. I was concerned because a few weeks before I got to Thailand, the PX officer fired 4 Thais for stealing, and they came on base with a contract on his life, and they killed him about 50 yards from where I was at. And I knew that this is real, so I told the Polish marshal about it. He said, well, wait and let's see what happens. They called me again, and I told the Polish marshal about it. He said, I'll get the OSI on it. So he went and investigated, and he knew who the guy was that was trying to sell the Buddhas, and so he went down and he saw him, and he came back to the next staff meeting and told me, I forgot the man's name, but Madam T was her name, want to thank you for finding that one bad Buddha. That bad decision, being stubborn, almost cost me my life. Not listening to somebody else, but just following through with what you want to do, and regardless of not thinking about the consequences, being not aware of the consequences. I think it's a lack of experience and a lack of willingness to consider somebody else being of value, what they say is of value, what they believe is of value. Nobody has the answers to everything. If you're going to grow as a human being, you need to be open enough to consider other people's ideas.